Not good. That is not good. But you know what? We'll go anyway, Johnson, because we can't worry about that. We can't make sure things are perfect. What is this? What up, Johnsons? What's going on? You good? Yeah. All right. Hello, 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 hello. Hey, what's up? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? What is happening? Look, hold everything. Do not adjust your screen. You at the right place. What's going on? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Show. Glad you could make it. Glad you could be here. Thank you so much, guys. Check this out. We got so much going on. Look, it's Tuesday. Tuesday means you call up to the show and you do some talking. Because frankly, I've been doing enough talking. Phone number's down here, 319-527-6212. That's the number you dial into. Yes, okay. I do not have all my clips lined up. It's okay. It's okay. Do we need clips, Tim? Well, you know what? If I don't have clips, they can't hit me with a copyright. So that's kind of good. So look, I want to welcome my people on YouTube, Facebook. Make sure you're good to go. Let's just be sure, Tim. It looks good, but you never know. I got my Tim Black Wolfpack in the house. I see you guys. Sheldon, what's up? What's up, Nat A? What's up, David? What's going on? We got the Tim Black Wolfpack in the house. Over 50. What up? What up, Sam? The Calais one. There it is, guys. What's up? Give it up for my people coming through tonight. What's going on, Bri? Want to lose? Want to see more. Want to see more. Okay. Want to see more. What's happening? We got it. Day one in the house. D, what up, D? All right, guys. So wow. I can't wait to get the phone calls, man. But I'm excited about this part too. This is fun, guys. This is fun for me. It's hot down here. I don't want to run the AC because it makes noise, and I want my quality to be good. But if I start sweating, this jail outfit's coming off. It's court. Look, this R. Kelly goes to court outfit's coming off. So, guys, here we go. Let's do this. Let's do this. First things first. Haiti. Haiti. What is going on with Haiti? I saw white men on horses with whips. This is not good optics, Joe Biden. This is not good optics, Joe Biden. This is almost as bad as you hanging out with Bull Connor. Remember that shit? Hold on, guys. Hold on. First of all, we talked about this a couple of days ago. Yesterday. We talked about it yesterday. But that was on the Pause show. So today, on the Tim Black Show, we can give it a little bit of extra special attention. Folks, what is going on with the Haitians? What is going on in America? Americans doing what America does. Some people are making some weird statements about what was happening. So let's correct a few things. First of all, America didn't just go racist. America's been racist. Come on, guys. Here's how it is. America treats Eastern European immigrants like cousins. Hey, that's our cousins. They're from across the pond. So what, they overstayed their visa? So what? Hell, Trump married one. Come on. Something wrong with that. Oh, it's good. It's got a little accent. Maybe they'll play on The Walking Dead or The Wire. You won't even know they're from across the pond and are illegal. You don't even use the term illegals for Eastern Europeans that cross the lake or the pond who come in without their damn paperwork. Come on, guys. So those are the ones that get treated well. The only time they get kicked out is when they join a Russian gang or something, and they're in a bad Steven Seagal movie. That's it. Other than that, they get to stay as long as they want. Or unless they're like an ambassador, they kill somebody, then Murdoch would have to, like, him and Mel Gibson would have to, go arrest them and knock them, get rid of them. Diplomatic immunity. Shout out to Danny Glover, my brother. That's the only time we got a problem with Eastern European people crossing the river, crossing the pond, and illegally entering without going through the proper checks and balances. Those are the ones that get treated well. Then, just treated worse are the Asian folks, whether they're Filipino or Japanese or Chinese, anybody from an Asian country. Now, don't get me started on my geography, because I'm not that good at it. I'm upfront and honest. They get treated, a little bit more skeptical, They get preyed upon by their own people that have been here, that shake them down. I've seen the movies where this has happened. But more than likely, they're able to kind of filter in and kind of go about, because Asian folks, and I know it's a lot of people in this, but you got your Chinatown, you got your Koreatown. No one's got Blacktown. Ain't no Blacktown, okay? They're not treated as good as the Europeans. They cross, they sneak in, but they're treated okay. Okay? They're treated until a current spots one in the market speaking their own native tongue, and then we got a problem. But other than that, they're pretty good. Now, the next would be Latino folks, Hispanic folks, people from Latin America, people, playing castanets, whatever you want to say, My brown brothers and sisters, Oh, they get treated bad. They get treated bad. They get put in the cages. They get the boot. They get kicked out. They get all lumped in with MS-13 and other gangs. You might even have a president like Donald Trump run on how horrible they are. Yeah, they're not sending their best. They sent their thieves, their bank robbers, their drug dealers, their apists. And then some are probably really nice people. Yeah, Megan, there you go, Megan. Megan, you wrote me. You said, what's wrong with Donald Trump? A lot of shit's wrong with Donald Trump. Were you asleep the entire time? So there we go. We're doing is building a hierarchy of immigrants and how they are treated. And we started from treating best to worst. Now, who gets treated the worst in this hierarchy of immigrants? Black people. People with a darker hue complexion. And of those people, Haitians. Haitians get treated horribly. Oh, they get treated horribly. They get kicked out of places they're not even at yet. Haitians have been demolished by our system. They have been thrust off, thrown off. It's been this way for decades in America. Port-au-Prince, oh my God, Port-au-Prince and Just Rents. America does not welcome Haitians. They do not welcome anyone of a darker complexion. And if you noticed, that's how it's gone. From the lighter you are to the darker you are. The treatment coincides with the skin tone, generally speaking. Is there anyone denying reality here? Are we going to have a bunch of deniers of reality? They don't understand what I'm saying? You're not getting it. This is not clicking on you? You're not getting it all? So these people that are acting like this is a shocker. No, what's the shocker is somebody filmed this shit with the guys on the horses at the Texas border over there in Mexico, at the border, the southwestern border, that the film got out. Oh, you thought that those 10,000 people just showed up Tuesday or Friday. That's what you think, like 10,000 people just all of a sudden. No, they've been treating them badly. That has been going on. That's not new. This is what we do. So let's be clear about how America gets down. Like I stated, America didn't start and just become like abusive. America didn't go crazy. America went American. That's what we've been doing. It's very unfortunate to have Jen Psaki up there You know, she's paid a lot of money to do a lot of lying and a lot of conniving and a lot of distraction. But she didn't know she'd have to come in that day and defend a white guy literally hitting a black person with a whip. Yeah, kind of hard to maneuver around that one. And then you got people like April Ryan and Joy Reid who are second. Aren't they like from their parents from like other brown countries? So it's like people are passionate right now about this. I'm just saying, it's like people, you know, usually the sycophants for anything the establishment wants to do or even kind of bucking the system a little bit because they got a little bit of skin in the game on this. And I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you the truth, Johnson. There you go. I heard April Ryan giving Jen Psaki the business in a press conference. Wouldn't let her go. Wouldn't let her just move on with the usual malarkey that she was spewing. Do you realize the press secretary had to, she went with the standard talking points that all the white supremacists do when they hold up police violence against black people? We got a film of Border Patrol swinging a horse whip at a human being seeking help. And Jen Psaki says, well, we don't know what happened before the film started rolling. I don't really have the proper context to comment on it. Folks, if that would have been the Border Patrol swinging a whip at a dog, you wouldn't need any more context. In fact, that's one group I left out. I guess after I went from the Asians or the Latino folks from Latin America, I should have went to animals because animals get treated better than black people or dark-skinned people from other countries that come into America seeking refuge. They're not here to take your cookies. They're here because they're fleeing an oppressive situation. They're fleeing earthquakes and gang violence, desolation, starvation. You know, all the shit that's on the Statue of Liberty up there. All those things, send your tired and huddled masses. That's what they're reacting to. So what I'm having, folks, I'm having a hard time really grappling with the level of bullshit people are shoveling right now. And I'm glad that people are pushing the issue on this. I want you all to know, all my Tim Black Wolfpack, I want you to know this right now. I advocate for American descendants of chattel slavery. I stand up for a black agenda. I support black folks, black Americans, descendants of slaves in this country, but I also support other black people around the globe. And I also support all victims. I support all victims. I said I support all victims. I am a humanitarian. Problem I have in this country is that our humanitarians start biting their tongue when it comes to black people because they don't want to go down with the ship. There's stuff to lose fighting for black people. I don't have that type of worry. I'm fine with losing stuff. There ain't a new condition for me not to have. So, but I want to be very clear. I'm not going to fault Haitians, or I'm not going to fault Nigerians, or I'm not going to fault any other person from the diaspora coming to America and blame them for the way Americans treat black folks, American descendants of slaves, because they're going to do that shit anyway. They don't make the policy. The Haitians don't make the policy. And for that matter, none of us do. So I see no benefit at all. I see no way ethically that I can blame Haitians or anyone else for coming to America and wanting a life. I can't. I won't do it. Now, as for our claim against our U.S. government, as it pertains to reparations, reparative justice, money, bonds, stocks, bonds, lands, whatever form that may take, well, you're going to have to argue with France about that shit. But I got your back if you come in here, you need some help. Hey, look, I misspoke the other day. We have 1,500 Afghani refugees coming to Maryland right now. And I would like an equal number of Haitians. I mean, I'm putting my order in now. I want an equal amount of Haitians and an equal amount of Afghan refugees. Because if it wasn't for America's meddling and really the whole entire westernized world. I mean, Haitians had to pay France just for be free. They had to pay their money. They paid restitution to France to get their country back from the colonizers. So, that's a lot of information that doesn't, that may confuse you. I would suggest you visit the Reset Race podcast on YouTube and consult other entities for a more in-depth analysis. But I just want to be very clear, man. You can support, and I want to set an example that you can support black people, American descendants of slaves in this country without shitting on Haitian refugees, without having disparaging shit to say. I'm not even going down that route. Open the door, open the gate. To the Biden administration, you look horrible here defending or trying your best to word salad this shit. These people should be fired. All the border agents slinging whips should be fired. I see no difference between this and any other police brutality type event that I've seen over the years, where I call for the same thing, an investigation and a firing. And if there are criminal charges that can be taken, we should do those too. Because when people come seeking help, that's what they deserve in the richest country, in the country that has pillaged Haiti and applied sanctions to Haiti. And we only just lost their president too. I mean, it's in disarray. Where are you sending people back to? So they're sending these Haitians back, airplanes at a time, to a place that's wreaked with havoc. If you listen to Fox News, man, they're having a field day with this. They're saying how all the hard left is making it impossible for Joe Biden to do his job and boot all the Haitians back. No, he is booting all the Haitians back. And we don't control what he does, dum-dum. Isn't Leo Terrell one of the most horrible motherfuckers on earth? Like, he's a horrible, disgusting little troll, man, isn't he? Where does this guy come from? It's like every time I turn around, Fox News just pulls them out of their ass. Whenever they want to, Leo Terrell. Sounds like something you catch, can't get rid of, and you got to cut it off. Yeah, man, I'm lucky to be here. Man, yeah, man, we were worried about you, man. What happened? Well, I caught a little Leo Terrell, man. Leo Terrell syndrome. I had to have it cut out. That I caught it when I did. So, folks, I mean, there are clips of white men on horses shepherding or sheep herding black people, but you don't really need to see it to know what that looks like. Just open up a history book. It's lots of documentation, it's the same imagery. We are still who we are. America didn't go racist. America didn't go brutal. America went America. All right, let's go to the next story. Now, this I was kind of hesitating to cover just because it's been a while. And I'm one of those people that I hate when I don't get the first bite at the apple, but as long as I haven't watched other people's coverage of it, I kind of feel okay about it, which I haven't. I have not watched this coverage, but I saw that Sam retweeted Information Man on this clip about NFL, Bill Maher. And I thought, oh man, I was going to cover that story. I haven't got a chance to cover it yet. Well, if Information Man just covered it, I guess it's still okay to cover. But you know how it is. If it's news and you don't cover it when it's new, it's not news anymore. It's old, right? It doesn't really classify as news. But since this is a commentary channel first and a news channel second, unfortunately, until I get up to staff or up to speed with the staff, and I'm working on that. Anyway, guys, I say all that to say Bill Maher had some harsh comments to make about The Black National Anthem. You know it. Lift every voice and sing, to earth and heaven ring. Lift every voice and something, something. So Bill Maher, he went on this thing. He said, I saw last night on a football game. Bill, you're a elitist asshole. You don't watch football, man. Stop lying. It doesn't involve quiche and blow and weed and strippers. So come on, Bill, we know how you roll. You've been rolling the same way the last 35 years. Now you want to act like, oh, I was watching football. Yeah, right. Right. And Ice Cube was watching knitting on YouTube. And Lil Nas X was watching. Let's keep going, Tim. Stay focused, Tim. So Bill Maher, here's his statement. He says, I saw last night I was watching a football game. Alicia Keys sang Lift Every Voice and Sing, which now I hear is called the Black National Anthem. Now, maybe we should get rid of our national anthem, but I think we should have one national anthem. I think when you go down a road where you're having two different national anthems, colleges sometimes now many have different graduation ceremonies for black and white, separate dorms. This is what I mean. Segregation. You've inverted the idea. We're going back to that under a different name. Now, according to The Hill, which is a conservative rag, Real-Time host made a compelling argument about the NFL season opener. See, when I was criticizing you fuckers for watching The Hill, even though I went on there a couple of times, when I went on there, I didn't know they were right wing. Once I figured it out, not going to work for me. But that's okay. That's okay. But this is the type of shit they say. They're boosting this. They're saying, Bill Maher speaking for us. We love what Bill Maher's saying. This is great. He made a compelling argument. Now, look, Hill, what Bill Maher said is compelling. If by compelling you mean dumb as fuck. Because that's really what this shit is. Dog, it's like I always say. White people don't like black people doing their own shit. You know how long black people have been singing this song? You know how long the Black National Anthem has been the Black National Anthem? As long as I've been alive, Bill. I'm not as old as you, but I'm not that young. So, you so detached from what black people got going on in their lives that you don't even know that this Black National Anthem has been a thing. It didn't just start now with the woke left, bitch. That's how fucked up they are. And he gets a platform to talk shit. And The Hill says he makes a compelling argument. He makes a dumb argument that don't make fucking sense. It reminds me a lot of the same liberal elitist assholes who complain and talk shit and talk about, we gave you the Juneteenth. Juneteenth. As if black people didn't already have Juneteenth, motherfucker. Leave it to some racist, asshole, bigoted, elitist, limousine liberal motherfuckers to give you some shit you already got and then want to take a bow for it. Like, here's your Juneteenth, Negroes. Thank me. Kiss my feet. Park my car, son. Go park my car, boy, and tell your sister to come say hello at the table. They have no respect for us at all. And what I love about this, if there's anything to love, is it exposes Bill Maher even further. Man, he's so exposed, I'm surprised the police aren't running around with a warrant for his arrest for indecent exposure. Yeah, Bill, you've been fucking up, man, last couple of years, man. Maybe it's time to shut it down. You're not even entertaining anymore to go after. You're just giving it to us now. You're just letting it rip. At least back in the day, you would go behind the cloakroom and let off a stinky wet one. Now you're doing it right in front of everyone. Bill, we can see and hear you. This is the same motherfucker that was complaining about the woke left. That's his main thing. Oh, politically, these leftists are so the progressives are always complaining, and we're just gone too far. We're worried about everyone's feelings, and we're too concerned, and everyone wants to be. But they want to talk about when you can't say nigger like you used to, and you can't smack a woman on the ass like you used to, and gays want to be able to be gay in public, and oh my God, what are we gonna do? Oh no, we're just gone too far with this integration bullshit. But at the end of the day, it's people like Bill Maher who are the most woke motherfuckers, but he's woke in another way. He's woke for white supremacy, folks. Who gives a fuck what they sing at the game? Private companies, corporations own the teams. If they want to put on, you have no problem with Madonna's, Janet Jackson's titty popping out. But you got a problem if Alicia Keys sings, lift every voice. So they're fine with us doing our own black shit, but as long as they're not exposed to it. Because they don't want to change themselves. They're fine. As long as we keep adapting to their shit. They're fine as long as we jump through hoops to conform to whatever whatever mode that they feel is comfortable for them. But once they have to do any type of conforming or modification to the shit they're used to, it's too far. It's too far for them. They can't do it. And this is the reason why I call shit out all the time on this show, Johnson, because I'm a free black man and I don't have to conform to shit. And if you don't like it, you can get the fuck out. Do you realize me saying that only makes them want to stay longer? Because they're so used to controlling the blacks, just like Bill Maher. What I'm saying, folks, if your whole argument is that America's segregated, or it's becoming segregated because black people got a song, motherfucker, we got a lot of songs. Frankie Beverly and Maze. Family reunion, motherfucker. It's a family reunion. A family reunion. I never heard you sing that shit. We got a lot of songs. It takes two to make a thing go right. Hey. Oh, it takes two to make it outside. Hey. Oh. Summer, summer, summertime. Huh? We've been had our own shit, Bill. Just because Bill sat with a lot of black women. When I say a lot, I mean a lot of black women. Most of which he's paid. Which is, I got no problem with that. Just keep it 100. And if you weren't paying up front, you were paying on the back of it, motherfucker. Keep it 100. This motherfucker thinks he's somehow a spokesperson for us. He's a spokesperson for the white supremacists like he's always been. Hey, man, I hate to break it to all the liberals out there, all you elitist liberals, asshole liberals who think you know what's going on. America's really fucking segregated. Like, it's probably more segregated now than it was 40 years ago. That's the kicker. That's the kicker, Johnson. Gentrification is overwhelmingly kicking out the blacks into silos. America's always been segregated. But we were quietly segregated and you didn't have to listen to us on your fucking boob tube, on your fucking NFL pregame show. You know where else was segregated? In those Fortune 500 jobs. Yeah. We're also segregated when it comes to getting justice in our legal system. We're also segregated when it comes to having adequate health insurance. You know where we're most segregated? We know where we're most segregated, Bill? Life expectancy above 65. Above the age of 65, Bill. Oh, man. Hardly any blacks in that group. But see, Bill, you want to focus on this dumb shit about there being two songs, one of which is a celebration of slavery. The other is a celebration of somehow surviving it. And you're on the side of what exactly? Oh, and also Isaiah Thomas, and I mean this with all due respect, man. Fuck you. Yeah, fuck you, Isaiah. You know, black people had your back when they shouldn't have. Weren't you the one, the handsy motherfucker that, like, coercing people to sleep with you or something? Hey, I'm only bringing it up to say I question your sincerity on any issue, but I also question your ethics. Black people shouldn't have. Anybody who goes on Jason Whitlock's show and doesn't go there to fight that motherfucker, suspect as hell. Jason Whitlock is not invited to the cookout. And that's not just because he's going to eat all the food either. He'll probably put something in it for Zaddy. This fake idea that we're a united country, and if only if we sang. Folks, this is so asinine and hypocritical. If you want America to be homogeneous, yeah. You want America to be more united? Here's what you do. Close the racial wealth gap. Close the racial wealth gap. Give black people reparations like you gave them to the Japanese and gave to Native Americans and other groups, Jewish Americans, Jewish folks. Start leveling the playing field. That's how you achieve Quam. What Cuba Gooding Jr. call it in that movie? You know the one. Jerry Maguire, yeah, the Quam. That's how you get the Quam. You get it by writing America's horrible past. But see, Bill Maher doesn't want to correct America's horrible past. In fact, he's one of those fuckers who believes all the shit that's been done to black people since we weren't slaves today, there's nothing America can do about it. It's too late. The horse is left the barn. So he says he wants equality or he wants unity. He wants us to be one nation. But how can we ever be one nation if one group in that nation has been historically disenfranchised by the other group and has never been resolved or remedied? It will always hang over our heads, Bill. And you complain about the woke left. What about the tone-deaf, liberal, limousine liberal assholes? Elitist jackasses like yourself, Bill, who overlook reality and just want to get back to the good old days. When you could roll into town and sleep with whoever you wanted and treat them any way you wanted to treat them and say whatever you wanted to say on your airwaves and shit all over us. And we had to take it. Those days are gone. We're fighting for ours. And the only way out of this is to cut the check. All right, guys. Give it up for that. I think it's pretty good. How'd that feel? That's okay? That come off okay? I mean, I'm pissed off, but I figured I've been so loud lately, why not switch the tone a bit? You know? Cut the check! Okay, last thing before we go to phone calls. This is going to be quick. This is not really a thing, but I want to comment on it. Now, last night I covered on the Pause show, and I put out a separate clip. We talked about Gabby Petito. Horrific story of a young white woman, what turns out was murdered. Now, Gabby Petito became national news, if not international news, because she'd been gone missing for quite some time, and for some reason the authorities allowed her boyfriend, the chief suspect, because whenever someone goes missing or foul plays, it's supposed the spouse or whoever they're dating becomes suspect number one. for some reason, since Gabby Petito, fiance or boyfriend whom she had an argument with a couple of days prior to this, they let him walk around free. Yeah, and now he's gone missing. Well, luckily they found the remains of Gabby Petito. They still can't find their primary suspect. So we're looking for him, and we're going to find him eventually. And if he doesn't have an accident, a self-inflicted accident, and hey, I'm still holding out hope among hope that he's not the person who did it. But however this turns out, there's a young woman who's no longer with us. So this whole incident has been, publicized, commoditized, monetized by the powers that be, just like they do all the time. And Joy Reid recently quoted Gwen Ifill, famed journalist, who called it missing white woman syndrome. Because that's how long it's been going on. That's how long America's done this. Some people, I don't know if they realize this, they don't realize that America does this a lot with white women who go missing or white women that befall tragedy. America's built on vilifying black people and holding up the chastity of white women for some reason. The nobility of whiteness. And nowhere is that more demonstrated in the way that we treat white women in this society. So anyway, it became a thing. And look, I went on a pretty good substantive rant about it. I want you to go check that out on my channel. I think I did a good job, pointing out the disparities in this. But the last point I want to make on this, besides the fact, of course, we want to catch the killer of Gabby Petito, I want to make sure I say that a couple of times because I'm about to get real offensive. Not offensive to Gabby Petito, but you know how people they get triggered. You know how every time there's been a murder of a black woman or even a black man, the usual suspects come out in droves to deny the humanity of those black men or women, to dig through their past and find reasons to blame the victim for being dead. Notably, Candace Owens. Yeah, Candace Owens loves to do this. She's the mouthpiece for white supremacy, white conservatives that believe there ain't never met a live Negro that they liked, and never met a dead one they liked either. No, she's gone to long lengths to vilify Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, George Floyd. And all I'm asking is this. Candace, why so quiet about Gabby Petito? You can't find one disparaging thing to say about Gabby Petito? You conservatives that applaud every time that Candace Owens and Larry Elder and these other assholes, Leo Terrell, and throw a coon, name a coon, find a coon, pick a coon, have something negative to say about someone black who's been killed by state officials, by the Klan in a badge. You always go, well, they're just expressing their opinions, and they're just looking at things, and they're just looking at outcomes, and they're just having a conversation. They're just asking questions. We're just having a conversation. Why don't they ever scrutinize white folks who go when something happens to them? Like, I haven't heard Candace Owens talk about Abby not serving the homeless people food or cleaning up at a soup kitchen or something. I mean, she was out living her life. I mean, I'm sure you could find some fodder there, Candace, if you wanted to focus on something negative. I'm sure at some point, Abby Petito and Brian Laundrie had to run a red light at some point, or maybe smoke a joint, or listen to some Tupac or Snoop or Cardi B at least once. I mean, they had to do something that was unsavory at some point in life. And the point is this. You won't hear her say not one iota, one fucking thing, not one scintilla of a negative comment. Check her timeline. Has she said anything negative? She won't. Because Gabby has a complexion from the protection from the collection. And those assholes who follow Candace Owens pretend to be oblivious. They will pretend that they don't know that I have a point. They can't see my point. Instead, they'll say, I'm divisive and I'm being a racist because I'm pointing out how racist and how much of a white supremacist booster Candace Owens is. Now, I haven't dug through Gabby Petito's background to see if there's some dirt. That's not the type of person I am. What kind of a human being would pick a time like this? Someone's been murdered. Someone's a victim of a homicide. What kind of a human being would choose that time to go through their background and find ways to justify the death? Candace Owens. That's who'll do it. And Larry Elder. That's who'll do it. And Leo Terrell. That's who'll do it. And what kind of people would justify it? What kind of people would call people like me who call out those conservative, white supremacist boosters what they are? They would call me divisive, me a racist. I'm not encouraging anyone to go through Gabby's background and find varnishes on her record, because there's nothing on her record that will exonerate her killer or mitigate their actions in any way whatsoever. To do so is a despicable act. But I find just as despicable those who support that activity when a person is black. And that's what Candace Owens does. And so whether you know it or not, whether you are aware of it or not, or maybe you are just as dumb as you play, what would you think of your Candace Owens now if she were to go after Gabby Petito? You have a little bit of cognitive dissonance, wouldn't you? You have to figure out what's more important. Defending the honor of this virtuous young white woman taken way too soon by a murdering piece of shit, or a piece of shit, literally, that throws black people under the bus at every turn. But defends your white supremacy to the death. Oh, decisions, Johnson. What would you choose? All right, guys, that's all I got. We're going to go to phone calls. That's going to leave a mark. Let's run a commercial, and we'll come back with phone calls. We'll open up the phone lines and get you to talk, because Jesus Christ, that was enough. Also, let me give her this jacket. It's out of here.
Most news, they don't focus on black issues, and when they do, most news shows are suspect. They don't focus on black issues, and when they do, it's all fluff. How does that help your life? How does that help your family? How does that help the culture? They don't. The Tim Black Show is different. Tim Black gives you news for people who can't stand the news. Real, authentic, researched, entertaining, on point. Don't let nobody take your cornbread. Visit www.timblacktv.com today. Get black breaking news, politics, culture from someone you can trust. timblacktv.com. Join us today.
Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Don't be fooled by corporate media talking heads misleading the people. Get your news and information from an entity that keeps it real. Tim Black. Tim Black is the host of The Tim Black Show. Independent news that leaves you informed, inspired, and sometimes entertained, but always in the know. Go to timblacktv.com and sign up today. The Tim Black Show is news for people who can't stand the news. See you there.
Here we go, Johnson. We are back. 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 What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? Oh, man. Okay. Told you I had to switch that out, man. That was crazy, Johnson. All right, so look, guys. This is the phone portion of the show, which is always good times, always good times, always good times, always good times. Yeah. Actually, that's better, man. I like that better, man. That's working. Yeah, that's better, Johnson. That's how you do it, man. That's how you get that going. Let me grab a couple notes here in case let's get our notes ready here, Johnson. Oh man. All right, we're good to go. We're good to go. We're good to go. We're good to go, Johnson. All right, let's go. Let's get it cracking now. Look, phone number's down below, 319-527-6212 is the phone number that you dial into. Thank you guys for being here. Oh, man. And, oh, man, it's good to have my people in the house, man. You guys are really killing it, and, yeah. You're with me even when I'm starting trouble, man. I'm making things hard for them. I'm making things hard for them. They can't deal with it. So, yeah. Stay there. Okay, good to go. I got a call in queue. It's a 520 number. Hold on, 520. Let's see if we're good to go here. 520, you are live. What's your name? What's your comment?
What's going on, Tim? This is Sergio from Los Angeles.
Sergio, what's going on, brother?
Doing okay.
Good.
Not much, my man. Just appreciate you as always. Appreciate you, your community out there. Appreciate you always speaking the truth, and just hitting them with it because they did it. First and foremost, I'm sorry, cut the check, and both parties stuck down. And when you owe, you owe. It's what you got to pay up. So I was just thinking to myself the other day, man, because I'm not really, I come from an activist family, union family, and I was thinking, man, I need to get involved somehow, and I need to make my way out to the state of the good, George Clyburn, because good friend of ours, good friend of the show, right? Yeah. What I do on a regular basis, and I've been doing this a lot lately, last year. I listened to the last few speeches of, Reverend Martin Luther King, and those speeches, man, they hit hard because pretty much everything he says, whether it be 50 minutes, whether it be a little bit over an hour, when he speaks about the military industrial complex or his last speech ever that he gave, everything that he said from beginning to end is still a point that needs to be addressed in this time that we live in now. And I just want to follow Clyburn around with a big old loudspeaker or some speakers and just play those speeches. Anytime he steps anywhere, anytime he goes anywhere, see if he remembers anything of what type of person that he used to be. And so I just need to figure out to get some cash to go do that, because the only thing I'm really good at is being loud and I think bugging people sometimes, and especially the ones who deserve it. So, but that's pretty much all I have on my mind. There's so much more going on, but everybody stay safe out there. I make sure everybody vote. As much as, we got to figure some stuff out. And, hey, we don't got Larry Elder in Los Angeles, so that's good. Peace, y'all.
Give it up for my man Sergio calling up, man. I feel you, brother. It's there is a lot to talk about, and bro, I wish it was that simple that you could remind Clyburn I wish you could just remind him of what he was brought to Washington to do. I wish that would be enough. I don't think it is. I think the fact that he loves pharmaceutical money and power and talking down to people and fighting for pharmaceutical money. I like pharmaceutical money. I think that's his focus, man. And there are a lot of people in politics who have done the same thing. You know, he's not the only one. You know, who's gone that way, man. Once they get to Washington, unless they're rooted in their communities, it's tough, man. And when you've been there as long as Clyburn's been there, his muscle memory is just to toe the party line and push out anyone who would change or upset the apple cart. So anybody who's not going to conform to status quo, Clyburn's got a problem with that person. And his job is to buffer, right? And to speak to black folks who may be confused about following the Democrats. So like his job is to make sure the butts stay in the seats, that the chicken dinners keep coming, they have a fish fry, and they elect more Democrats like himself, and that the gravy train continues to run. That's it. You know, and that's about it, bro. I wish he could be influenced. I don't think there's any hope for him to be influenced. And that was one of the most despicable displays. Is Jim Clyburn talking to activists who came to his office. I don't know if anybody saw that. That's horrible. That was horrible, Jonathan. That was horrible. Yeah, J Committee. I got a couple comments here. I got Sheldon Hughes. Yes, to Reset Race, they have great content, very educational. Give it up for Sheldon Hughes. Thank you, brother. Now look, guys, Reset Race has a Patreon. They got memberships going. They got a membership drive going on, and they got a volunteer section. So they're looking for volunteers, and they're looking to grow their show and to grow their awareness and to do more education. So they have a lot that they're working on. So I encourage everybody to support their efforts and also help out if you can. What else? We got Vagana Parana. Tim Black speaks the truth that Bill Maher could never even understand. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. We got Bob. Wow, the images give me PTSS, post-traumatic slave syndrome. What? Yes. Very, very good. I appreciate you bringing that up. That was a very interesting book. Actually, me and Mrs. Black have that book, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. And I remember I posted a picture of some of my favorite books that I have. And someone saw that title on Facebook. Now, they don't know anything about the book. They just made comments, negative comments about the title of the book, knowing nothing. And that's what's wrong with people. Like, you don't know anything about an issue. You do no research, just out of hand. I mean, to criticize something you don't even know about, just because you're a white guy, a white guy, I'm just going to criticize this. I know nothing about it. I've taken no time to read it. I'm not interested in reading it. I haven't asked any questions about it. I'm just going to criticize it because, well, I'm white guy. Ryan says, what's my opinion on the Hotep movement? You know, man, and honestly, Ryan, man, I have not, I'm not really up to speed on what the Hotep movement is. You know what I'm saying? And so I really can't make a comment about it. Real talk. And with any other movement, I'm sure there's going to be different variations and of the movement and different people that feel one way or feel the other. I know there's been some connotations that weren't all positive about it, But, bro, I really don't know enough about it, man. Real talk. And, yeah. I mean, I support a black agenda. It's sorely needed in this country. And it's the only thing that's right. I mean, if you got black people voting over 90% for a party, they should own that party. That party should do what we tell them to do. No ifs, ands, or buts, right? I mean, if you're bringing in 90% of the foot traffic, if you say, hey, I want a cheeseburger on the menu, you guess what you're going to have when you come back in here? A cheeseburger on that motherfucking menu. That's just me. I mean, that's just how it should work, right? I mean, anybody here a business person? What if 90% of your customers or the people that keep your establishment open, and if it wasn't for them, you would have no establishment. If they said, hey, let's say, I don't know, you're a movie theater, and 90% of your patrons want you to, play some Samuel L. Jackson movies. Would you be in that motherfucker playing Bradley Cooper? I mean, maybe you would. You like Bradley Cooper, but I'm just saying. I mean, maybe sparingly. When you had a chance, you play a little Bradley. But I know one thing. If your ass wants to keep the doors open, you're playing a lot of back-to-back Samuel L. Jackson. Because that's the only thing that makes sense. But for some reason, the Democratic Party and people like Jim Clyburn do their best to make it make sense. Not to play Samuel L. Jackson. To play the opposite of Samuel L. Jackson. What's the opposite of Samuel L. Jackson? I don't think Bradley Cooper's a good person for that. Who's the opposite? Maybe someone British and very short. And a woman. Like, that's the opposite of Samuel L. Jackson. Tall, slim, older black guy. Young, short, British woman. White British woman. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, let's play her. Like, it wouldn't make sense, but it makes sense because black people are being held captive by the Democratic Party. So it's people like Jim Clyburn that help continue this bullshit. And then you got people like me who do our best to fight against it. And for some reason, they try to say, I'm opposed to vote blue anywho. Because if I'm not saying go vote for these people that aren't even fucking running in a party that don't exist, and then their party is just as white as the Democrats, and they don't have a black agenda any more than the Democrats do. So I'm trying to understand what the hell the criticism is. But they got to find a criticism for me because I'm too strong, I'm too black, and I'm too strong. They can't, and I have no governor. Like, there's no one to tell me what to say. And I'm not a part of their networks. They can't shut me down. What can they do? What can they do with us, Johnson? What they gonna do with the 10 Black Wolfpack? What they gonna do with us, y'all? It's almost unfair. It's almost unfair for them to go against us. They sent these horrible, bad actors, these lame misfit morons at me. These guys, they couldn't. Come on, man. What are they going to do? They ran around the room and shit all over the place, but they didn't do anything. They can't stop the momentum of the 10 Black Wolfpack, what we got going on here. Come on, man. Come on. They couldn't move the crowd if they had a moving van. They couldn't move the crowd if they had American Airlines behind. They couldn't move the crowd, Johnson, if they had Rakim with Buster Bus. They can't move they can't move the crowd, man. So it is what it is, man. Like, honestly, guys, the Democrats are in trouble. The fake left is in trouble because we are doing our damn thing. Bose Einstein, Clyburn says mansion is for less than $3.5 trillion. Let's go. Clyburn says mansion is for less. Yeah, he wanted 1.5 trillion. Is the last time I looked at it. So, yeah, interesting, right? I got a couple calls in the queue, guys. Let's give some people a shout out to Mike 778. You are live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, my name is Paul. You hear me, Tim?
Yeah, I got you, Paul. What's up, brother?
Yeah, so I just wanted to discuss with you issues pertaining to identity politics, and I'm glad you're choosing to focus in on it and hone in on this issue because a lot of these leftists, for the longest time, have ignored identity politics and have merely framed identity politics as being some sort of liberal wokester thing that doesn't need to be focused in on. But we got to point out the fact that specific identities have had specific experiences within the context of America, especially economically related. One specific identity is being redlined. One specific identity isn't getting the New Deal benefits. One specific identity isn't getting the GI Bill at a significant rate. Therefore, one significant group of people, in accordance to their identity, are being racially discriminated against for decades. Even in a post 1960s world where you're now getting access to voting rights or let alone getting access to white only pie, the specific repercussions of those decades of racial discrimination have now corresponded in the modern inner cities, or otherwise known as the underclass. And it's quite fascinating to me that a lot of these left tubers merely ignore the underclass environments that are found in inner city regions, whether it's Southside Chicago, whether it's Baltimore, whether it's Los Angeles. They'll go out of their way to focus on middle to slightly middle to lower class existence that's found in the Rust Belt states that's associated with the white working class, but they'll utterly ignore anything and everything pertaining to the underclass environments that are found in racially discriminated environments now known as the inner cities. And I'm glad you're choosing to focus in on this issue and really highlight it, because you got to call out these lefties and they got to be willing to confront the decades of white supremacy that has now corresponded in structural, racist, environmental conditions that have manifested from decades of white supremacy.
Damn.
I've been really thinking about this issue for a long time, Tim. I'm glad you're focusing in on this issue. You're the only lefty right now, the only lefty that's highlighting these issues. How can you proclaim to be a lefty but ignore underclass environmental conditions that have manifested from decades of white supremacy? And now our white supremacist conditions and our environmental conditions rooted in decrepit education, rooted in decrepit infrastructure, rooted in issues pertaining to housing, rooted in issues pertaining to the job sector. None of these issues ever get highlighted. What was Bernie Sanders' community revitalization program to target the inner cities? It wasn't even to be found. And I like Bernie Sanders. I'm not taking anything away from Bernie Sanders. Right. But where was this community revitalization program to target the inner cities?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And look, Paul, look at it like this, man. Let me look at this. Let me pose this to you. What is the reason why? Why do you think they don't want to talk about it? Why aren't they discussing it? It's obvious it's an elephant in the room, and I appreciate you acknowledging that I'm bringing attention to it. But if you had to, I don't know if we can be certain, but what would be your inclination to why they're not discussing it?
The reason why they're not discussing it, because white supremacy is invisible to them. They don't see white supremacy. They don't see that the decades of racial discrimination have corresponded in these underclass environmental conditions. They don't know that analysis. The most they know is a sort of 1980s and onwards neoliberal analysis where these environmental conditions were impacted by the war on drugs. That's as far as their analysis goes. They don't have the specific nuances and understanding as it pertains to what's corresponded in these environmental conditions, how FDR played a role, how Truman played a role, how even Kennedy to a certain extent played a role, and how we haven't still dealt with these issues and focused in on these issues and targeted these issues. We'll target the Rust Belt state conditions. Trump targeted, Bernie Sanders talked about it, but nobody within any sort of left tube community, let alone even politicians for that matter, are highlighting the underclass conditions because they don't see white supremacy. They want to run away from white supremacy. They don't want to confront the legacy of white supremacy. They're fine living in a world where maybe white supremacy doesn't exist. maybe we won't have to talk about the death, the pain, the misery, the impoverished conditions in Southside Chicago. Maybe somehow, some way we can just avoid it, just not look at it, right? And then we won't have to deal with it. That's the world they want to live in. But we can't live in that world because that world doesn't exist.
True. You know what, Paul? I appreciate your stance on this, and I admire the amount of graciousness that you have in your comment and your worldview, and the way that you are doing your best not to villainize these people. But I got to tell you, brother, with all honesty, I do not share your optimism for their motives. I believe that they are fully aware of what has happened in this country and how it has impacted black folks. I think they're fully aware that there was a thing called a New Deal, that we did not get it. They're fully aware that we didn't get, take advantage of the GI Bill, was not extended to us. I think they're fully aware of the Homestead Act. I think they're fully aware of discrimination and redlining. I think they have made a calculated decision, Paul, and this is why I've been on a tear, brother, is I believe they know that their audience consists of, and it does include, people who are white supremacists, and for them to address these issues would somehow divide their audience, and that would affect their bottom line and their pocketbooks. Now, some people are now coming around. I see them coming around, and maybe they'll be doing some different things. But I don't want tokenism. I want actual. I want them to say it with their chest. I want them to actually dig into these issues and actually mean it. So that's where you and I differ, but at the end of the day, we're at the same point.
I do agree with your analysis in regards that it is intentional. It is intentional. There are intentional components assigned with it. These issues in terms of underclass environmental conditions don't trend on Twitter. They don't trend on CNN. They don't trend on MSNBC. They don't trend, let alone, God forbid, on Fox News. Most of these left tubers go on Twitter, they see headlines on Twitter, and away they go with their discussion. Their analysis doesn't even supersede anything that's not found on Twitter. You have to go beyond Twitter in order to find out the conditions that actually exist in these underclass environmental conditions. And due to the fact that it's not trending, therefore they're afraid and intentionally avoid that issue because their Patreon subscribers don't necessarily want to hear that discussion because they frame it superficially as being identity politics. But when you focus in on the white working class in the Rust Belt states, that's also an example of identity politics. You can't run from identity politics, whether we're talking about the white working class that's been impacted 1980s and onwards, or whether we're talking about African Americans found in underclass environmental conditions, or even indigenous people on indigenous reservations. We can't hide the fact that one identity has corresponded in given access to specific opportunities, especially economically related, that other identities haven't been given. It doesn't trend, so these guys choose not to cover it. It's as simple as that. And instead, what they do then, they just avoid it and frame it as, you don't really need to know about identity politics. It's just a wokester thing on the side. The real stuff, the real news is found on Twitter. The real news is associated with the white working class. And that's what their analysis more or less becomes reducible to.
Man, I love having this conversation with you, Paul. At the end of the day, to me, it's sort of like my segment I did about Bill Maher and his concern about the national anthem being the black national anthem, Lift Every Voice, being sung at NFL games. And he talked about segregation being a problem, like we can't have two national anthems. He's saying that we need unity. And if we have two different national anthems being sung, that shows a disunity. And that's not good. That would be segregation. But what he doesn't want to accept, Paul, and it's similar with these folks on the left or the fake progressives, is that if you really want to cure the segregation, we got to deal with the original sin, and we have to deal with that with a reparation or restorative justice that close the racial wealth gap, give people a reason to come together by being on the same footing, giving everyone the same type of outcomes in their lives in the pursuit of happiness, which is afforded them in the Constitution. And until you do that, brother, it doesn't matter if we all play the same song, we're going to be dancing a different tune.
Yeah, pretty much, more or less. It's so refreshing to hear that you're focusing in and targeting in on these issues. For the longest time, for years and years, I don't want to specifically call out a lot of these left tubers. You've called them out. You know who they are. For years and years and years, they've been telling their audiences, you don't really need to focus on this identity stuff. All it is just the class stuff. The race stuff doesn't matter. And now they're in many ways being forced to confront this issue due to the fact that issues pertain to critical race theory, let alone George Floyd's death. A lot of these factors have now sort of forced them to at least take some sort of baseline minimal position. And some have at least made an attempt, while others still just continuously just ignore the issue altogether. And the issue pertaining to race doesn't even exist in their intellects. Some haven't even covered critical race theory. Some have even chosen not to even examine it. Therefore, these individuals rightly need to be criticized and called out.
Well, look, Paul, I want to thank you so much for calling up, brother. I appreciate your intellect, your personality on this, your point of view, I should say, on this. I mean, it's very respectful. I got to give you that, and I like the fact that you're so well versed in what's happening here, man. Please don't make this your last time calling up, and we should talk again.
I just want to mention one quick thing before I hang up. I remember you made a video a couple of days ago. You mentioned Tim Wise, you mentioned Dr. Umar Johnson, and at the end you stated, those that know. And unfortunately, most people don't know. All right, thanks for your time, Tim.
Man, thank you, my brother. Give it up for my caller, Paul. Man, that's what I'm talking about. That is why this show is worth so much to me, is because of you guys. And that's a treat, y'all. That sounds like I had a ringer, a planned call. No, I didn't know who this person was, and I'm so glad that they chose tonight to call up because, wow. You know, there have been people, unlike Paul, like Paul was very appreciative. He said it a couple times that I'm making these issues important and I'm focusing on them and I appreciate his acknowledgement of that. I've had people the opposite point of view, where they see these commentators as sort of like sacred cows or sacred Kyles and Jimmys and Crystals and look guys, or Katie's or whatever. Listen guys. If they didn't have audiences that I feel that they are misinforming, then I could agree with you. I could agree with you then. But if you have an audience and basically we're in the same bucket, so to speak, and you're telling your audience that my blackness is not a detriment to my success or my happiness, if you're telling my audience that these discriminating practices that have been perpetuated in this country for the last 100 years are not hindrances to black folks today, if you're giving them this run of the mill about how we could just focus on Medicare for all and somehow that's going to improve my life so much that the homeless folks who are homeless, like black folks are not just homeless because we lack medical insurance. We're homeless because we lack the earning potential and the wealth, the racial wealth gap that exists in America. We're homeless because of a myriad of reasons. And the only one you want to address is the one that we share in common. But for the issues that are distinctive or more pronounced in the black community, you don't want to address those problems. So that's why I have a problem. And it's not a personality thing. It's just they got the audience, they're doing the misinformation, or they're doing the omission, the lying by omission, and someone's got to hold their feet to the fire on it. That's all it is. And I appreciate Paul for understanding that, for getting why that's important to me. And also because I've worked with some of these people for the last couple of years, and I find it as a personal affront. And George Floyd, to me, was the candidate the last straw that broke the camel's back. The lack of coverage on the George Floyd case and what that meant. And that whole summer of unrest. If they're going to ignore that, I said all bets are off. I got to go ham. Because that means there's going to be nothing. I mean, they could literally, white supremacists could literally come in my house and drag me out and lynch me. And those motherfuckers wouldn't talk about it. I mean, that's how bad it was. That's how intent they are not to focus on black issues. And once you see that, and you ain't gonna look away, it is what it is, you either address it or you're not worth the salt of who you say you are. You're not who you claim to be if you ignore that just because you've been on this person's show or they've been a guest on yours. And you're going to ignore these obvious, not blind spots, intentional bullshit. They got upset. Why you go after Breonna Joy Gray? I haven't begun actually to go after her in a discrediting fashion personally. Because if I was, I started talking about what type of corporate lawyering she did. Now we haven't gone into the background of some of these individuals line by line. Yeah, well, Hillary served on the board of Walmart. Not the ACLU. Not getting black men out of prison, not reuniting families or fighting for a family justice. What kind of lawyering did Harvard do? So we haven't gone personal. Now, they were personal on me. Their defendants went personal, but I haven't gone personal yet. I'm going to go to the next call, man. 216, you are live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Yeah, Alpha Tim Black.
What up?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm not be able to compete with the last guy. This is Tom Thumb out of Freetown. I bumped into you at the Gore down in, when I was down when you came in for Nina Turner.
Yes. Okay.
But the night gonna be it's starting off with a bang, man. You came out super sharp. And then you had Paul on, and but what I wanted to mention, man, is I was kind of browsing the net, and I ran across a program. I don't know, I can't think of the guy's name, but the program was called the Jive Dive or something, and he was kind of dissect. The only reason I stopped on the program because he was trying to dissect your righteous rant when he was talking about, and he was saying that you had voted for Joe Biden. He was saying that over and over again, and I know that you hadn't.
Right.
And you kept trying to force that point across. I don't know if you know that program or not, but
no, I don't know that program. No, I don't know it, brother. Yeah.
Yeah, but he had spoke on that, and so I just stayed on the program to see where he was. He was just going through different, he was kind of, he couldn't find much, to argue against,
right.
The point, because your finger on the pulse. That's why I listen to you, man. I don't call in as much, but I listen, and that's where you at. That's why I listen to you. And the guy, he was trying to, he wanted, he just following the flow with, he following that flow, and he just trying to find the fault, but he couldn't find much of it, but he wasn't trying to make it. He was trying to make something up, But I just want you to know that, I just want you to know that part of it, so.
Gotcha.
So it's called a dive, I think. The spot called a dive,
Oh,
dive.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
That, I had never seen it before, but that's, that's what I've seen, Well, I just wanted to make that point, man. But
Yeah.
just keep doing what you're doing, man. And it's, you gonna make things happen. You making things happen. That's what I like about it, man. You making it happen, man. Cause the truth gonna be revealed, and whether they try to hide it or not, you making it. You revealing.
That's it, brother.
Man, just keep on, man.
I will, brother. Look, give it up for my caller, man. I appreciate you, man, calling up and thanks for giving me that information, man. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. And yeah, I know you're talking about now the dive. Yeah, that's Nick Bronner's Movement for White People's Parties guy. That's that guy, that guy, See, these people are horrible. Okay, they're just as bad as the conservatives who lie and make up shit and who try to come up with ways to go at their, I don't want to call it enemies, but people that they hate. And they have no real arguments. All they can do is lie. My brother, this is the No Joe channel. It's the No Joe channel. I mean, if you want to say that you don't like Tim Black's shirt, that's fine. But to say a guy who gave these out for the entire 2020, a year 2020, I was like, send me an envelope, I'll send you a No Joe button. They say that guy voted for is a Joe Biden supporter, which is complete bullshit. So they don't really have a criticism. Their criticism is this: Tim Black don't like Jimmy Dore. Tim Black called out Movement for White People's Party, and Tim Black said something about Bree. That's really their problem. Their problem is, I'm fighting for black people. These motherfuckers are not. Me fighting for black people, standing up for a black agenda, demanding reparations is a problem for them because it makes them look bad. The end. That's really all there is, Johnson. There's really no more to it. Nothing else. That's it. I disagree with them. I'm supporting black people. I'm pointing out that these motherfuckers don't. And that makes them defensive. And they try to fight back. They have nothing to say except he said something mean on his video, and then they lie. That's it. That's all they can do, Johnson. But it doesn't matter because the audience I'm trying to grow here and what we're trying to do with the Tim Black Show, I'm not looking for the same people. I don't, brother, I'm looking for more people like you, Paul, Sergio. That's who I'm looking for. I'm not looking for their people. Their people were fine with black people being omitted from their coverage. Their people are fine with black people being tokens in the Democratic Party. Their people are fine with us supporting their class-based policies, but nothing specifically that supports us. So if you're fine with that, you're not my audience. And I'm okay with that. I'm not saying you should rot in hell, you should burn in hell, and I wish you die. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you're not my audience. Because the audience I'm cultivating, the community that I'm building, recognizes reality for black people in America, and we want to do something about it. If that's not you, you don't have to be butthurt, but you got to get the hell out of here. That's all. That's all. And I'm not going to change my message because you threatened to unsubscribe. I'm not going to change my message because your feelings got hurt. I'm not going to change my message and stop talking about these issues because it makes you feel uncomfortable. That ain't how this works. You fucked around and you met somebody who ain't here just to make money. And whatever carrots or buttermilk biscuits you are waving, trying to fan the flames, trying to fan the the aroma of buttermilk cheese biscuits. And I'm over here like I'm good. I don't need no damn cheese biscuits. That shit they usually work on the coons ain't working on me. The shit that work on people who don't have their own community ain't working on me. See, these people, they're in a position where they have to depend to eat the scraps from the table of people like Jimmy Dore and Kyle Kalinske. And they mess around, and folks, I'm sorry, but it's what it is. They mess around, and it's a brother who don't need to eat their scraps, Johnson. I don't need Jimmy Dore's okay, or Kyle's love, or Crystal's wink. I don't need that shit to do what I'm doing. I don't need Katie Halper or Matt Taibbi. You know, I don't need them to be me. So they're in a bad spot because they've been controlling Negroes, blacks, and allies by dangling shit like hopes of a career, hopes of helping them build their channels up. And they fucked around and they ran into a guy who don't need them. I don't need to go on TYT to do what I'm doing now. I've been doing it without him all this time. You can't hold this shiny object up and tell me to betray my people. To pretend water ain't wet. To pretend black women ain't dying 3 times the rate of white women giving childbirth. You can't, there ain't nothing you can give me that make me forget that black people are 13% of the population, but half of the homeless population. There is nothing you can pretend to offer me. I already built my shit. And you didn't build it. I done been viral 20 times, and none of those viral videos had anything to do with any of these people. So I don't need them to do my thing. And I don't need to get their approval or their good graces. And I like Jimmy. Jimmy's really nice. And everyone like, I don't give a damn, folks. And I don't need MSNBC, and I don't need CNN. You know what I need, Johnson? Come on now. All I need is the people. Cat Williams ain't never had to kiss nobody's ass. Why hasn't Cat Williams ever had to kiss anybody's ass? Cat Williams is a millionaire many times over. He helps children. He has a beautiful family. He does what he wants to do. He tours what he wants to tour. He knows his audience. He's built his audience. That's the formula, Johnson. I hope to create more Tim Blacks in their own ilk. And all I mean is the autonomy to keep it 100, to tell the truth. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not saying be like me or even have identical politics. But when you are not tethered to anyone, particularly someone who wants you to shut the fuck up about black people, it's amazing what you can do, Johnson. So I want to encourage anybody out there who wants to speak truth to power, don't get hooked up with none of these people. You don't need these people. What you need to do is work your ass off and build your shit. That's what you need to do. And they got a problem because I don't need them. All I need is you guys. I need you to go find 5 friends. Tell them about the Tim Black Show. Leave the rest up to me. Because I'm going to tell you something. They're going to come to this show. If they're anything like you, they're going to come here. You know what's going to happen? They're going to hear me talk in a way they're not used to hearing people talk. They're not used to hearing it. You ain't going to be able to put me next to Joy Reid. They're going to get used to listening to this type of straight, direct, real content, this real opinion, this real commentary with including facts. And they ain't going to... What they're going to do? Go listen to Dr. Jason Johnson? Shovel shit for the Democratic Party? They're going to go listen to somebody make excuses for Donald Trump because he gave some money to... Because administration gave some money to HBCUs. Meanwhile, this motherfucker would not lower the sentencing guidelines. He stacked the judgeships with conservative judges and threw the books at black people. He reinstituted so many practices that we were trying to get away from, like civil asset forfeitures. Disproportionately impacts who? Black people. What about that? So it's a problem for them, man. I know it's a problem for them. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to stay a problem for them. Only thing they could do is start bribing their supporters. They better do better. Better come up with better lies than saying I'm a Biden supporter. They're gonna have to come up with better lies than that. I mean, I guess if you got a bunch of dumbass listeners who don't even take a moment to go to my channel and look up the fact that I've never had a positive Joe Biden video. I mean, I guess if you have an audience who does absolutely no research whatsoever, I guess it works. But I like the fact that this guy, this young snot-nosed bastard, this kid running behind Nick Banana, daddy's boy, for the white people's party, I'm glad he did that, because I'm glad he lied on me, because that exposes him to his own base. He did my work for me. Tulsi Gabbard was a shit candidate, and that's who you guys supported. All right, let's go to 310. Hey, 310, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
My name is Michael.
What's up, Michael? What's on your mind?
Well, I just want to say that I'm a white guy, right?
Yeah, I can tell.
And I'm bothered by what I'm seeing. and
it's okay, man. It's okay.
Nice.
It's okay, man. What's going on, Mike? What's going on? Don't be a bad call, Mike. Don't be a
$100 hug up there, brother. I'm such a hater. Well, I'm just gonna say, I never had one racist bone in my body. Period.
Michael, let's have Mike.
BS.
Michael, stop, brother. Mike, impossible. You live in America. It's impossible, Michael.
I live in America, and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but wait a minute now.
America's built on racism, huh?
Yeah, but so what it is, man. The Lakers were built on Magic Johnson. I don't see his lazy ass on the court.
You know, Michael, you know what I'm saying, Michael. You know what I'm saying.
It pisses me off.
Well, that's good. Then maybe you're, I don't know, man. Maybe you're what we call an ally, brother. But that doesn't mean that.
Why don't we just call each other by our names, and why don't we just call ourselves by our names and not that black man did this and that white man did this?
You like Morgan? You sound like Morgan Freeman,
Martin
Michael.
Luther said colorblind, man.
Michael, that doesn't work. You know why?
Colorblind, baby.
You know what, though, Michael? Okay, you know what? I agree with you. Get your government to do it first. We gotta get.
I'm all for you. But
yeah. Yeah, Michael.
Why did they look? I'm gonna tell you something. I worked for the Trump administration. I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't see one guy say anything about any black man. Period. But I'll tell you what I did see. I saw people beating people because of the color of their hats. We can't even get to the color of the skin. What about all that? Is that the behavior that's going to pave the way for one day for us to be unity? And the other thing is do they want unity? I mean, I would love to be friends with every black person there is. When I go to the mall, I see a black woman, I open the door, not because of white guilt, because I'm a gentleman.
Brother, these things that you're
I
saying.
don't see color, man. I don't
Yeah.
want to see color. I don't want to know about
Michael,
it.
it's okay
I
to
don't want to
see.
be a hater.
Michael, it's okay to see color, brother. You can't. First of all, Michael, it's impossible. I'm sure you know your colors. You dress yourself in the morning. You see color. It's about don't treat people negatively because of their color. That's all. You can see color, brother.
Okay.
Get what I'm saying?
I'm with that.
Right,
I'm
right.
with that. But tell me and tell my other guys, please, to pave the road. Tell me this reparations thing, how it works that dead people are paying for other dead people's screw ups and all this garbage. And we grow up and we try to do right by everything. And yeah, it's the Democrats that are screwing it up, man. They're panderers, man. They sucker you guys in. For 50 years they've been doing it. You keep getting the Democrat vote from the black vote. It's like, you know, wasn't it Lincoln that freed the slaves? I mean, set me straight. Set me straight.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to attempt to set you straight, Michael. I'm going to try to. First of all, brother, reparations is not about what you did personally. It ain't what it's about, brother. It's not about you.
Right.
Okay? It's about a system. It's about the.
Yeah,
it's about, listen,
about
Michael.
My dead granddaddy.
No, Michael, no, Michael. Listen, man. Let me say this, okay? Reparations for American descendants of slavery, of chattel slavery. It's about American systems, systemic racism practiced by your government that had policies and still has policies in place that limit and restrict and make it harder for that have negatively impacted black folks for centuries, bro. It's not about you specifically. It's not about a Karen or Michael yelling the N-word at somebody at the Walmart. It's not about that. It's about our legal system. It's about our banking systems. It's about so many of these systems. It's about our medical systems. It's about these things which have these systems that have been in place that would not run that way if not for the U.S. government. So just like you don't have a say in how much money we give other countries, like you don't have a say in how much money we spend going to war, it's not, America's debts that they owe to black people who built this country and who were disenfranchised, right? Historically, there is a dollar figure on that. And that's what reparations is about in a nutshell. But it's not about you paying for slaves, man. There are issues in this country that extend far beyond slavery, brother. Look at the racial wealth gap. How are we ever going to be equal? You sound like a fair person, Michael. You said you wanted black people and white people to work together. Stop talking about race. I get it, Michael. But Michael, how could we ever do that if black people are worth only 10% of what the average black family is worth 10% of what the average white family is worth? How can we ever have unity, Michael, when white people are so far ahead of us and it's by design, by policies implemented by the U.S. government? How could that ever happen?
I'll give you one suggestion.
Sure, go ahead.
We come together and I'll give you one suggestion. We come together and we make a white and black party that kicks the rhinos and the assholes and Democrats the hell out and says we want a fair shake for all. But I do believe if that party happens or the coming together happens of the white people that don't have a stick up their ass coming together with the black people who want unity, that we have one national anthem for that new thing. When an army marches war, if we don't have that one flag up there, we have the Imperial Guard in Iraq. They fold in the first 10 minutes of battle. You gotta have. There's a reason that they got merit badges in the Cub Scouts, and they got one flag to follow. Because without one true north on a compass, we're divided. We're just a bunch of scattered ants running from the latest batch of hot water they poured on us. So I say that I'm going to follow your channel. I'm the first one to step up and donate. And I'll tell you what, I just think there should be some thing, because your problems that you're calling out are correct and true. And I saw something there, so I kept listening, and I said, man, all he's got to say is, what do you want? We will follow you. Tell us what you want. Whose ass are we going to kick? We're going to make something happen. Where's the suggestion to heal? Where's the Band-Aid, my brother? Let's get a Band-Aid, right? And you can come listen to my podcast too. And I'm on the Chuck Woolery show. I'm a regular on there. But you'll be a welcome guest on there anytime you want. They got 1 million listeners. We'll put your ass on there. That's how much I believe in you. I want a dialogue, man, because it's making me sick to my stomach. I have a lot of friends, and I haven't seen this. I'm a musician, MTV rock guy turned radio host, and the bottom line is it's killing me, the hate. I've been a Lakers fan for 30 years. To watch LeBron take a knee, I go, man, fuck that. Let's fix the freaking the problem that's causing it. And if he hates that flag and it's got all the sin, I don't know if we wash the clothes and change the stripes, it's going to make us all innocent. Or if we rip down all the crowbars, if it's going to stop burglary, if we rip down all the statues, it's going to stop the hate. I think those dead assholes ought to stay up there as statues so everybody can take a nice big piss on them if they did that much wrong. I am learning a little bit about it, and I think they were crooked. But, tear down that wall, tear down this, tear down that. Just say a cause. I see the cause. I see the crimes. I see the injustice. I see that there's a voice here. But what are we going to do about it? Because, man, I don't want to walk down the street like hating up on black people or thinking that they hate up on me or nothing. I want to give them a hug, man. I want to give them a hug, and I want to address them by their name, not their color, whenever possible, when realistic. But there's a lot of people. My wife, my family, my kid's a rapper, for God's sakes. He wants to be black. So I'm just saying that there's a lot of us out here that do not feel that stick up the ass,
True.
We're better than you,
True.
and stuff like that. But we don't want to pander, and we don't want to kiss ass or white guilt. We want to stand up and go, hey, man, we're with you.
But you know what? I appreciate that. Look,
I don't know if I said that right.
Yeah, you said it right enough. I definitely get your point of view, man. Let's give it up for my caller, calling up and having the dialogue. Michael, look, email me at clientcare@timblacktv.com. I got to move on, brother. But know this, man. If I burnt down your house, Michael, if I burnt down your house, brother, I just can't come with a thank you or a sorry. We need to fix your house. And what America's done is continually burn down our house. And we need our house built. That's it. And now, once we build the houses, once you help me build the house that America, once America, not you personally now, but America burned down my house. I need them to fix my house, to build me a house. They destroyed my house. And then we can live happily ever after. But you got to start with repairing the damage done deliberately and consistently to black people, not you personally. Because without that, you have to always address the issues. You can't just move past them and say, let's kumbaya and forget they exist. Easy to do when it's not you who's been impacted. So I get you. I appreciate the spirit. I appreciate you supporting the show. And once again, brother, give it up for my caller. I appreciate you, Michael. It was good talking to you.
Well, I will just say thank you. I feel you, and that's the best love I've heard. So I'm gonna keep watching, man, and I wish you luck.
That's it, Michael. Once again, that's a good call, man. And look, Sam and also Michael, I want to suggest you check out the Reset Race podcast. Very informative podcast, and what we're trying to do here is we have a great audience of different folks who tune in, Michael. It's not just, we talk to anyone. And the key to it is we don't change our tone. This ain't FCC regulated, so I can say however I want to say it, you know what I'm saying? But we don't modulate our tone depending on who we're talking to. No, I'm gonna talk the same way, whether I'm talking to you, whether I'm talking to my cousins or my brothers or my sisters, my vanilla brothers, my chocolate brothers, whoever I'm talking to, it's gonna come out the same way. Whether butter pecan, cheesecake, strawberry cheesecake, we talking the same way. So, all right, I'm gonna go. I got another call. I got a 240 number. 240, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hello?
Hey, you're live. Who's this?
Hi, Tim. This is Stephanie in Maryland.
Stephanie. What's going on, Stephanie?
I was inspired by your last caller to call in. He talked about, Mike talked about wanting to have a white and black people's party all together. And I think, I don't know how old he is, but Rainbow Coalition, man, 1980s, Reverend Jackson, and I hope he's doing okay. So what I did want to say, though, is it is a struggle on the progressive side. As a white woman, I've been many times in really tense conversations with other white Bernie people, Bernie fam, on whether or not, just being white gives you privilege. And, I grew up on welfare a lot of my growing up, went to school only because of Pell Grants. But I know that, getting out of college, even though I grew up with alcoholic parents and somewhat abusive home and, welfare and Pell Grants and, working since I was 11, when I got out of college and I went to go look for my first job, there was one thing that I didn't have strike against me, which was, people didn't make negative assumptions about me because of my skin color. And, what can we, if it's on our hearts, what can we do about it? And I don't even know what to call it anymore, because I don't know if I can use the word progressive anymore, because I get so confused, because you think the liberals are liberal and then the liberals are really Hillary, and then Hillary is a progressive who gets things done. And I don't even know what label to use anymore, but we're trying to move things forward. And I just feel like there's so much work to do still, even within our own communities. So I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate having you to tune into, tell you every time I call you, keep me sane. And I can't keep up with all the drama with the other people, because I listen to you more than them, and I don't know what's going on with them. But I don't even really want to know.
Right. I know. Stephanie, man, what a great call, man. Give it up for Stephanie, man, putting it down. And I appreciate
Thanks, Tim.
You got it, sister. Look, man. Stephanie, if people could just understand what part of the problem that, and Michael sounds like my last call, Michael, he just supported the show. He gave some money to the show. I'm like, wow. I appreciate that. And he said some things which lead me to believe he wants to bridge a gap. He wants things to work out. And, he invited me on a show with 1 million followers or whatever. And I might take him up on that, because I am trying to reach new people. And Lord knows the left don't want me talking, because the left want me to pretend everything's okay, and they won't even want to discuss race. So maybe I do need to talk to some conservatives. At least they're willing to have that conversation about racism and what's going on. Maybe I could, say some things. But we're not getting called back for the jobs. If there was a solution beyond, we're looking for solutions that fix what's going on, right? And it's multifaceted issues that we're attempting to address, and there's got to be multiple ways to address them. It's serious business. It's not just police brutality. It's not just lack of medical coverage. It's not just not getting called back for jobs. It's not just promotions. It's not just bank loans. It's all of it. It's not just that. It's environmental injustice, right? It's so many. It's throughout the system. And I appreciate the fact that Stephanie's at a point where she understands, or has understood for quite some time, that it doesn't mean that you had a silver spoon, that you have white privilege, man. And I've never liked the term white privilege. because it's so easily misinterpreted. You know, it doesn't mean you had a great life. What it means is, or that you had it easy, or you have a silver spoon, or that you had everything you ever wanted, or that your parents were great. It just means, all it means is the problems that you had were not systemic in nature. It were not because of the color of your skin. That to me is very basic explanation to what I see white privilege to be. Now, it just means you don't have certain shit you did not have to worry about. You know, I'm watching a documentary on the Reset Race podcast, and it was about redlining, and it went into depth about how it was written into the deed that black people cannot live here in this dwelling. You cannot sell this property to a black person. A black person cannot occupy, not own it. They can't even rent it. No black people can live in this place, in this building. Now, some of these deeds had similar statements about other folks. But when they looked at all of these many, many, many thousands of deeds, one consistent group that was denied was black. Now, there may have been some deeds that had Irish or Jewish, or some other group, ethnic group, but one group consistently denied was black. This was not an accident. And then when the FHA came about and they started offering these home loans, they continued the practice. They even punished. Say if you were one of these white folks like Mike or like Stephanie that see that discrimination's horrible, it's rancid, it's un-American, okay? Say you're one of those people. Hell, man, if you sold the property to a black person, you could lose that property and it'd be returned to the original owner, and you'd be sued for selling to a black person. This was legal. And I'm not talking about the 1860s, the 1920s, but 1950 up to 1960. So how are we supposed to create wealth with impediments, structural impediments like this? So how are my parents leaving me wealth when government institutions and whole industries,
90 seconds.
when entire industries are pitted against us and denying us that entry? How can you pass down wealth to your children and them pass it down to their children if we're not given that opportunity? So that has nothing to do with a person being a bad person or a good person or likes jazz music, if you like Nat King Cole, or if you like Smokey Robinson or whatever, right? It's not about you as an
60
individual.
seconds.
There are things that were done systemically in this country, and it has nothing to do with what kind of a person Michael is at the core in his heart, or how great a person Stephanie is. These are systemic problems I'm talking about. So when you have a systemic problem that's perpetuated by your government and policies that are directed by your government, hell, FDR, man, wanted to have a more equal playing field. But in order to get this shit through Congress, they had to gut the hell out of it, the New Deal, right? Just to get it through. Now, I wish you would have went down with the ship and said, hey, it's a depression. Either you let the blacks come along or nobody gets helped. He could have done that.
10 seconds.
He could have done that. Now, I don't know if he would have lived through his entire presidency, but I'm saying he could have done it. But we're talking about systemic problems, bro. So how do you fix a systemic problem? Systemically. You can't just say everyone sing national anthem. Hey, look, if you have a serious illness It's nice to say affirmations in the mirror, but we need to treat the root cause of the illness that you have. We need to come up with the antibiotics to help kill that illness. And that illness needs to be addressed. And us singing songs and me singing hymns to you and us being really nice people and watching the football game together ain't going to change your medical condition. And what I'm seeing too much of is people like Bill Maher that want us to sing hymns and shit. This is window dressing without dealing directly with the problems. And the Democrats as well, who don't want to deal directly with the problems. And worse than that, or just as bad, I don't even say worse, also as horrible and ineffective, forget horrible, just as ineffective are people saying, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Stop relying on the government. Meanwhile, it's the government that even created a white middle class, dog. It wouldn't even be a white middle class if it weren't for the government. So soon we forget. How are you going to create a white middle class? The government created a white middle class, and then when I say create a black middle class, you go, well, that's it, that's enough. Damn it, I've heard enough. There you go, asking for stuff. All of a sudden now all of a sudden you want to rough it when it's not you. They realized the only way America could survive was to create a white middle class. It's the way America could thrive. So they did those things. But when they did that, they intentionally omitted black folks. Well, they said, they didn't include farm workers and domestics, which were 95% of the jobs that we had. So that's how they got around that. So, look, guys, so I'm saying to correct it, we have to literally correct it. We can't just go, okay, let's just move on. Nah, man, someone burnt down our house. And even when we rebuilt the house, they burnt it down again. And again. And again. Then they scorched the earth. So, yeah, we're going to need something's got to be done, and it's not going to get done by us being nice to each other. It's nice to be nice, and I want that to happen, yo. Great, let's be nice. Let's work together. Let's have a beer. Good stuff, man. I look forward to it. But we're going to deal with this burnt down house thing, because after you drink this beer and I drink this beer, I'm going back to no house. And if you're really my friend, you want for me what you want for yourself. So that's what it is, Johnson. That makes sense? All right, guys, I want to thank everybody that called up tonight. On a Tuesday, this is an excellent show for a Tuesday, Johnson. I mean, I wasn't expecting this. This is amazing. Who knew, right? Let me make sure I got all my comments here. Let's give a shout out to Michael Tramiel, who also supported the show tonight. I appreciate that, Michael. And of course, Michael Guy, for your support of the show, my brother. I appreciate that. Latoya in the house. Latoya says, go, Tim. You go, girl. Shout out to Martin Lawrence. You go, girl. My friend Will in the house. Will, what's up, brother? Big K says, I support you talking to conservatives, but I humbly suggest you bring the fire. Be respectful, but don't let them try to use you as a tool. Oh, hell no. Big K in the house. Big K. Big K, it's things we have to worry about, but we're going to talk the same way there if this happens. Did I talk here? Yeah. That's the whole point, right? I mean, I guess I could go there. Or we could find common ground. Right? We could find some common ground like Jimmy Dore does. Or, I don't know, when he goes on Tucker or when Breonna Joy find common ground. Talk about Medicare for all. Nah, Johnson, that's not how we built. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to go do that, you might as well don't go. The worst thing in the world to do would be to go and all of a sudden soft shoe tap dance. Nah, man. Nah. Yeah, you don't have to curse each other out and start insulting one another, but nah, we have to be emphatic about what we believe in. We have to stand on that, or there's no real dialogue. We got people just trying to kiss ass, and I can't have that because the last thing we want to do is create an audience of people who we differ with politically. That's just horrible. That's how you end up with a bunch of trolls. You don't want that, Jack. You don't want people that you know, oh, Tim, he's calling out the Democrats. And then I go, reparations, they go, oh my God, So now we can't, look. No, I will definitely, if this happens, and you know, it's just talk. But if it ever did happen, hell man, I've been on the Blaze before, debating Tommy Lauren. I called Tommy Lauren a racist on her own. She is. I don't know how you could not call her out. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, how could I not address her blaming BLM for everything? She blamed BLM for Vietnam War to, you know, 9/11. Like, she just blamed BLM for anything and everything because that works good with her base. It doesn't have to be in reality. It just, so, yeah. All right, guys. Once again, thank you for a great night. Tomorrow there'll be a pause show. So we got a Pause with Tim Black show tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. And outside of that, wow. You know where to find me. Real Tim Black on Facebook and Twitter. Tim Black and that on Instagram. It is what it is. Nothing but love for you. Remember, don't let nobody take your cornbread. And cut the check. Wolfpack.
Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Don't be fooled by corporate media talking heads misleading the people. Get your news and information from an entity that keeps it real. Tim Black. Tim Black is the host of The Tim Black Show. Independent news that leaves you informed, inspired, and sometimes entertained, but always in the know.
Thank you for
Go
using
to
Blog Talk Radio.
TimBlackTV.com and
Goodbye.
sign up today. The Tim Black Show is news for people who can't stand the news. See you there.
Let me ask you something. Do they know us? When I say they, I mean the talking heads on cable news. Do they know you? I mean, they talk about the world as if it's a sport. They play political games, report on our pain, rack our brain to feed the stock exchange, but do they know us? Do they know what we care about? Nope. They're too far away. They can't see us. They can't feel us. They can't relate to us. See, when you want to know what's going on in your world, trust someone who lives in your world. Subscribe.